Okay, let's get going. Hi everyone, afternoon. Chetan here from micebook. Lovely to have you all attend. Today we are talking virtual platforms. So as always, if you could go on mute unless you're one of the speakers, that would be much appreciated. We are recording it live onto the voice platform. Objective always for our sessions is to share best practice, to try and help each other navigate out of a very, very interesting year. And we really appreciate the open and honesty that we get on these talks, because it's the only way we're going to improve and learn and benefit. Couple of micebook messages from me. We have launched the whole of November. We've done a lot of virtual content. I don't know anyone who attended last week. We did horrific virtual stories, which was quite horrific actually. It wasn't just someone walking behind with no top on or something. It was quite painful to hear, but that's all on our voice forum if you want to watch it back. So we've done lots of content throughout the month. Steve, who's here, I can see he joined us from the leader's point of view. And today is about platforms. We've also launched the V Awards, so celebrating all of the amazing work agencies have done over 2020 in terms of the virtual and hybrid space. More details out soon. Next Wednesday, we've got our event on Hopin, and it's actually going to be hybrid, so we're going to do some of the panels live, and that is all about incentive and luxury. And given the recent news and the vaccine information, I think the incentive market may bounce back quicker than we thought. So that's next Wednesday. All details on on mustbeonit.com and on Workplace, our voice forum. 16th of December, we've got our Christmas party, which I hope you'll join. It is going to be in partnership with SiteGB, free for everyone to attend. Lots going on, and yeah, hopefully a bit of fun and a goodbye to 2020. And 13th of January, finally, we did have the Mayfair Townhouse new event, which was supposed to be last week, but now it will be on the 13th of January. Details out very soon. Yeah, that's it from me in terms of messaging. So this today is about virtual platforms. And what we're going to do is going to take you through 4 platforms very quickly. We're going to show you the back end of how things are built and then the front end. And then we're going to try and leave as much time as possible for Q&A at the end. So if you're interested in specific platforms, you can ask the experts in those platforms any questions. So yeah, bear in mind, it's going to be quite quick. We're not going to do a deep dive, but let's get started. I'm going to start with Hopin. So bear with me while I share screen. Can you give me a nod that you can see the screen? Yep, lovely. Okay, so this is Hopin. This is the front end of an event, which is the one I mentioned, which is taking place next Wednesday. And this is the home screen. So I'm just going to quickly show you this first. So you've got your title, you've got your ticketing area, which at the moment it's not showing because I'm already logged in. You've got your reception page, which has got all the info. You've then got your schedule, which is everything that's happening throughout the day by time. You've got all the speakers that are attending each session. And then you've got the actual speakers themselves just in a block. And then you've got booths, which is essentially the expo area for where exhibitors can actually put their details. And at this point, before the event has gone live, you can't really do anything. Once you're in, that's it. You can't really click on anything. There's nothing for you to do apart from actually register for the platform. So I'll come back to this, but let me just show you how that is built, and I'll show you what it looks like once you're actually in the platform. So this is the back end. You start with the overview page when you build an event. You've got your main registration link here where everyone registered. You've got this studio, which is your backstage where the speakers actually have this link, and that's where they would come to broadcast backstage. They have a separate link. I guess it's more to do with the quality of the feed and making sure that any content that's on stage and keynotes is really stable. And if you have got thousands and thousands of people viewing, then it's the most stable it can be, which is why it's a sort of backstage link. And it's actually got a 20-second odd delay between what you're doing and what's getting broadcast out. You've got these other stream keys if you're using other platforms which integrate. You've got some basic data here. You've got some registration data as to who's doing what and when, and some other just kind of general where are people registering from, etc. So that's just a dashboard. Then when you start building Hopin, you really start with the key details. So you've got your name of event, that builds an ID, which you can overwrite. You choose which of the sections of the event you want. So you choose your time and when it's starting, when it's ending. Then do you want stage? Do you want sessions, which is breakout rooms, the networking area, which I'll come on to, an expo, which I briefly showed you. You've got the currency in case you're charging for tickets, and whether you want it to be a public event that anyone can find, a bit like an Eventbrite, or it's a private event, which only you want your audience to see. So that's where you start building. Then your next thing is tickets. What kind of tickets do you want for this event? So we've got 3 ticket types. We've got non-members, supplier non-members, we've got micebook members, and we've got buyer tickets. Two of them are free. One is paid for. This integrates with Stripe, which is a payment platform. I think it might integrate with some other things. So basically, it takes the payment and then it feeds you that payment. So you can, when you are building ticket types, there's lots of different things you can do. You can have hidden tickets so that maybe only certain people see those ticket types. So you've got paid, free descriptions. You can limit the amount of tickets, etc. Then you've got your registration, which is where you build just the information you want them to see when they first register. So you've got a really easy WYSIWYG editor, which you can put all sorts of info. You've got kind of bold and some, WYSIWYG essentially details. You've got your background image, which you upload here. So all of this is just showing here. So that's there, and you've got your background image up here. Then you've got a sponsors area, so you can add sponsors into this section, which will show on the home page, and that's it. Then on the day, when people actually log in, you've got your reception area, which I haven't built yet. This is the previous one, which is just copied across. But again, it'll probably follow similar things. You may want to give some tips like say hi in the chat, make sure you do this or that. So if you could, someone go on mute, please, who's just arrived, that'd be welcome. So you've got your reception area, which is, as I say, very similar to the registration area. The stage is essentially on the day where people go to see the main keynote sessions, and you don't really do too much with this unless you are actually using a different stream provider, which you can use some other ones. I'm not too au fait with any of the others. I just use the ones that built in with Hopin. So not too much I do with this section. Then you've got the networking area. Now the networking area is essentially what they can do is basically match ticket types. So I want to match my supplier members with the buyers, and I want to match buyers with suppliers. Say you're a university, you want to match graduates with professors. Say you're a recruitment company. So you're just matching 2 types of audiences that want to meet each other, but they don't want to meet the same person in the same category as them. So so this is basically you matching the ticket type with the other ticket type, and then you can set the duration that they are meeting for. So this is 300 seconds, 5 minutes. It could be 1 minute, it could be 10 minutes, whatever you say. And this is the minimum. So say you've already met someone, then you can basically exit after 5 seconds. And so that's quite a nifty, it's quite a cool, I'd say one of the cool functionalities I like on Hopin, which is this random kind of speed dating match, which people found incredibly fun the first time we did it. Sessions is your breakout rooms. So here I've got some sessions built in, and essentially these are 3 different breakout rooms people can pick. And you can edit that info. So you've got things like the session title, description, image, and also, is it just open that anyone can go into it, or is it moderated? Where do you want that session to show, higher up or lower down? And do you want to record the session, etc.? So really quite easy to build a breakout room and whether that shows on the itinerary throughout the whole day or it only shows at the time of that session, you can decide. I know I'm going quickly, but I'm definitely available for questions after and post, just to let you know. Expo area is where you build all the booths, so for exhibitors. So we've got an exhibitor here. So again, very similar to the breakout sessions, you can put in the name of the vendor or the exhibitor, their email address, the headline. Do you want their booth size to be, you can differentiate, so you can differentiate your pricing, large booths, small booths, etc. Where do you want that booth to show? You can rank it, an image, logo, description. And here, a session means essentially they're on video, or you can do it so that actually they've just got a pre-recorded video that plays, but the end provider can toggle between the two. The exhibitor can leave a video playing when they're not on the booth. So say they've gone for a break, and then when they come back, they can toggle it so that they're actually back on camera. And then you can put social links in, you can put offers in, etc. And I'll show you how this looks front end. So that's how you build the booths. Speakers, so when people register, you can make them speakers so that they show in the itinerary. This builds the schedule.
Yes.
So this is the schedule that's built. So as you add in different elements, you can give it descriptions, the times, and what area is in. So we've got the expo first of all, then we've got sessions, which is like the breakout rooms. Then we're starting on the main content during the afternoon on stage. Then we're going to do a bit of networking, the networking session, back onto stage. And then we've got a virtual bar at the end, which is again, a breakout room essentially. Sponsors, self-explanatory. Referral links I quite like, which basically means you can give individual links so that you can see where is the best marketing come from. So if you've used Twitter as a channel, maybe you always post a Twitter link here, and then you can see, was Twitter my best way to actually get engagement to my event? I'm going to be really quick because I know I'm running out of time. Loads of reporting, everything's recorded. You can see your attendees once they've registered. You can export. Sorry, let me just find. So you've got view attendees. So this is everyone who's registered. So you can see and export and see what ticket types, etc. you've got. Yeah, and then there's other things like you can duplicate the events. You don't have to rebuild it from scratch type stuff that it does. And then after the event's over, a whole load of reporting insights and that it gives you. So give me 2 more minutes. I'm going to quickly show you the front end. So when you're actually in the event. Right, so this is me actually in the event. The event's live, so you've got my reception page, which obviously I haven't built yet. You've got the schedule, as I talked about, which has been built. Everywhere in the schedule, you can add the speakers so they automatically show. Then you've got on the right-hand side, you've got the chat, which like all platforms have chat. You can build polls here, and you can see everyone who's attending. And you can invite them you can personal chat with them, and you can invite them to a private video call. If I click on stage, obviously nothing's going to be there because I'm not broadcasting, but this is where the audience would go. Sessions are the breakout rooms that I mentioned. So you click into a breakout room, and essentially what that does, it opens up really just like a Zoom link. It's not Zoom, but a video link, and then you can have up to 20 people on camera. Networking is where people are speed networking. So 3 minutes as I've got it. So once you're ready, you press it and then it will match you someone for 3 minutes, and there'll be a countdown clock, and then it matches you again, as long as you've got that ticket type. And the expo booths, again, all the ones that I showed you before that we built. So these are all the expo booths. And then when you click into one on the day, essentially the exhibitor will click into one. And then they'd start showing an audio and video. And again, so they're on camera. I'd be on, the attendee would be on camera, and they'd have a video chat. And they can have up to 10 people on camera. So you can do one-to-many, you can have several exhibitors, etc. And here's where you've got your information that's been built back end. You've got chat specific to booths, specific to sessions, or the full event chat as well. That's a whole load of stuff I've gone through in 10 minutes. I'm going to stop there, but I'm happy to revisit a lot of that, or any questions you may have. Whew, right. Good luck, everyone. Whoever's next, who's next? So OnAir, Catherine, would you like to share screen?
Great, thank you, Chetan. I'll try and be a little bit quicker than you, but I doubt it because there is a lot to go through. So I'm Catherine from JTB, and I'm here to talk to you about OnAir by Events Air. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So if you just give me a nod as well to make sure you can see my screen. Fantastic. Okay. So this is the Events Air backend portal. I'm going to run you through this really quickly because Event Air really does cover every aspect of the event management journey, right through from registration to delivery. But we're here to talk about virtual events. So I'm going to show you specifically that part. So if you just log on to your Event Air portal, click on the event that you are currently working on. So I'll go on to our internal one just to show you what that looks like. So you'll see quite a lot of buttons down here on the panel, which is dashboard, agenda, attendees, reporting, etc. But with any event, you would always start with the setup. And the most important thing about Events Air is you really have to follow the process, because if you do miss something out and an error happens along the way, it's like finding a needle in a haystack to find where that error is. So you would normally begin with your event and setting up the event. So this would be under preferences. You'll put in all the details. What's the name of your event? It will create a URL right here, start date, end date, the time zone, and so on. Okay. After that, you would then move on to brand. I'll just let you have a little look at that as well. So for JTB, you can really create a brand that is very unique to each company. So the portal really does reflect that particular brand. So here you would create the brand. So in this case, it's for the JTB portal. So it's in the JTB brand. You would select a header image, insert your logo, and you can also do a customized style. So this includes colors, fonts, font size, etc. Okay. And next we would normally go to registration. So in registrations, I'm not going to go into everything because I think we'd probably be here all day. But in registrations, this is where you can create all your different registration types. So that can be standard, multiple, and so on. And with registrations, this can either be free of charge, or you can also apply a payment as well. So payment can be done in many different ways. We can either integrate PayPal, or this can be done through invoice, or it can be done directly into a bank account. And then you would normally create any functions that you would have during the event, so any breaks or any networking that you may have. In the networking function, there's a lot of different options that you can choose from. My personal favorite is the speed networking. It works in a very similar way to speed dating, where you're thrown in a room up to 4 or 5 people, and you're there for about 5 minutes. You can set the time to whatever you want. After that 5 minutes is over, it does a countdown from 10, and then you change room and you're in a completely different room with different people. So that's quite a nice functionality that's provided by OnAir. Presentations, here you would also set up your sessions if you have any concurrent sessions, all the sessions of the day here. And finally, exhibition as well. So if you were to have a virtual exhibition, you would set that up here as well. So everything needs to start from the setup section here. After that, we would normally move on to our interactive site. So with any event, this would normally start with a registration site and a event website. So here you can see a registration. Events Air is quite easy to use. We're provided with really intensive training to be able to use Events Air, but it's a drag and drop function. So it's really quite easy to build up your registration form, as you can see here. And once you've set up everything in the setup section, you'll see everything coming under here. So for example, here under registration, we just have one type, which is individual. So you would drag that in, and that would be an option for your registrations. Okay. It also provides a really fantastic website builder. So here you'll see it's also a drag and drop function where you can start building your website from the welcome page, speakers, exhibitors, and so on. So let me just show you what the welcome page may look like. So you would click on the welcome, click on the cog here. And this would open your HTML builder. So then you would start, like a drag and drop function as well, you would start building your site according to the event itself and give an overview of the upcoming event. And it's also a great way to start advertising your registration, because you can include a registration now function inside the website. Here, so once your registration site and website is completed, you would then want to start building your portal. So this would begin with the sessions. So here in the agenda, you can see your session type here. On the right-hand side, you would see all the different ways that you can start building your agenda. So you would either create a new session, create a new function, create an activity or breaks, and so on. And then here you'll have all your attendees. So once you start receiving registrations, all your attendees are shown through the portal. There's also some fantastic reporting tools here as well, including live links that you can share with your clients so that they can see live who is registering. So we don't have to keep sharing updates daily. They just have one link that they can click on and they can see who's registered so far. So that's really a great tool. So that's all. I'm going to take you through the back end of the portal at the moment. Let me take you through the website and the OnAir portal itself. So here I'm just going to show you some examples of some of the websites that we have built so far. So this was an internal one that we did. And you can either have a single page or multi-page website. I quite like the multi-page website. It just looks a little bit cleaner and more systematic. And here as well, you can see the registration now button. So this is how you would send this out to people you would like to invite to your event. Then you have different pages, so all your speakers here, exhibitors, and contact page. Okay. But really your website can be built in any way, shape, or form that you want to. You can get really creative here as well. I'm going to show you one that we are currently working on at the moment for a Christmas party. So I'll just show you briefly here. So one of my colleagues is working on this one at the moment, one of my favorites with all the gold and the black, and it feels very Christmassy leading up to Christmas. So here, I'm just going to run through it very briefly. But you can get really creative and you can really go all out on the brand as well on the website. So that's a really great tool that Events Air provide. And this is just an example of the registration as well. So the registration is really comprehensive as well. It includes all your normal details like contact and so on, but it also enables you to include other questions that you may want to ask. So for example, have you attended a webinar from micebook before? You know, yes or no. Then you want to gather all this information before your event. The registration form enables you to do that. You can really ask any question that you want, gather any information that you want prior to the event. So I'm just going to take you through to the OnAir portal itself. Okay, so here is the OnAir portal and what it looks like. So here you see a banner that we've created. You can have up to 5. So for example, if you have various sponsors at the event, you can have 5 banners and they rotate all the time, which is a great function here and a good advertising tool. Then you would see your sessions laid out here as well. And the sessions can be concurrent sessions, it can be parallel sessions, and they can be integrated in many different ways. So you can use various video conferencing platforms, including Aircast Studio, Zoom, GoToMeeting. You can have pre-recorded videos through YouTube or Vimeo. And you can also use tools like Twilio and so on. And all of that is integrated through the platform. And it really does depend event to event on which ones we use for which events. Okay, so here is the timeline. And what's great about OnAir is that here it says no further events today. But if I go on to the demo that I put here. We'll see that there's a micebook demo featuring here. So there's a lot of different tools with the OnAir portal, and you can really brand this up as well according to your client's preference or according to your brand. But some of the features that are available on OnAir, I'll show you very quickly, is the meeting hub. So here on the meeting hub, you can connect with different participants throughout the event. You can connect with them. You can request for a meeting either by chat or face-to-face, which is great. And you can also pick up contact details from the different attendees of the day. So going back to the timeline, you can also have a virtual exhibition. So for example, here, I'll just click on Deacon from JTB Europe. So it gives you a bit of exhibitor information here. The virtual exhibition's not live at the moment, but normally you can request for a meeting with various exhibitors, download materials, upload video content, just to keep people a bit more engaged while they're waiting in a queue to speak to you. Okay, so if I just turn on admin mode, here you can see a live support hub. If you click on this, participants are able to reach out to us and tell us if they're facing any technical difficulties, which we are able to solve very quickly for them. They can either chat with us through the chat function or even request for a video call as well, so we can have that face-to-face communication. Throughout the sessions as well, you can also take any notes that you may want to. If you hear something very interesting from a particular speaker, you can make notes throughout the virtual conference, and then you can export my notes at the end of the day so you don't miss anything, and everything is saved in one place for you. Another feature here is a control room. So you'll see for today we have one session that I've created as a demonstration. It's not live at the moment, but this is what it may look like. On the right-hand side, you see control room chat. So the event organizer, meaning us and the client, whoever is allocated to oversee this event, is able to chat with us throughout the event in case, for example, a speaker may be delayed, or we're facing a 5-minute delay somehow, or there's an error with someone's video or so on. They can quickly share this information with us on this control room. Say, for example, you want to inform your attendees that so-and-so speaker is running 2 minutes late. You can just send out a notification. So, for example, here.
Catherine, you're running 1 minute late, just as you're...
So sorry, I only have a few more things to do.
Sure.
So I won't show this exactly, but you can send out alerts, and this shows up as a panel along the top. Or you can even broadcast the show host's live feeds. You can join this host, and a pop-up box will come up on the screen wherever you are, and the host can tell you what is happening. And last but not least, you have a analytics section as well. I'm not going to go through this completely, but it's great because you can see how many people are attending your sessions, where are the participants coming in from. You can export your analytics. You can see who is attending which exhibitors stall, for example. So that's as much as I'll show you at the moment. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. It's quite a lot to go through, but I'm more than happy to connect with you all individually.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate it. And so apologies for rushing.
No, it's okay.
We are going to share details, and I have asked the speakers if they could stay on past 4 o'clock to answer questions. Matthew, over to you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Jane, Director at Unique Venues of Manchester. We are a marketing consultancy organisation focused on kind of supporting venues and engaging them with conference and events buyers. We've historically had a live mini expo that's happened in Manchester for the last 3 years. Obviously, lockdown this year meant that we decided to use the buzzword pivot. Obviously, this was during that pivot, we decided obviously this was not something that we could do on our own. So we brought in extra people to support us and worked as part of a bigger team, which included actually a video production company, which was obviously a key part because we just also decided to pivot to hybrid. So I know this is about virtual, but our event was actually hybrid and was on the 1st of October. So it's an event that's happened. So I can show you kind of both sides of it. I'm going to share my screen. So the platform that we decided upon, we looked at a lot of platforms. We looked at Hopin, we looked at OnAir, we looked at Glisser, we looked at Brella, we looked at Event Case, to name but a few. So we did a bit of research between myself and the video production company we worked with. And because we were doing a conference and an exhibition, we felt that Swapcard was the best one. By its very nature of its name, Swapcard, of swapping business cards, the exhibition side for us was the thing that really probably swung it in terms of why we chose Swapcard. So what you're seeing on the screen, hopefully, if people can nod to say they can see it, is the back end of Swapcard. As you can see, the home screen, very much the basic entries where you can add images, as with the previous two with Hopin and OnAir, kind of general content. What I quite like about the feature is on the right-hand side, you kind of get a little view of what the mobile version might look like as you're going along and as you're building it. So obviously, literally, you can build this according to you want. Likewise, colors, fonts, etc. can be edited and adjusted as you feel appropriate. I obviously went multicolored on mine. Similarly, again, information about the event. Again, because it was hybrid, we had a location, so location information, details about the event, Twitter handles, sponsors, partners, and other advertising that you can add to basically your home screen, which is kind of where you come. Then you kind of get into the nitty gritty of your putting your event together. Under the event data, kind of everything is in our industry is data driven. So obviously people first. We have historically used Eventbrite as our registration software. So again, this was another reason where we chose Swapcard. Swapcard has an automatic integration with Eventbrite. So we already had our registration process and template set up from our previous live events. So we were just using the same kind of questions and data collection in the registration. Simply connect the two together, and all the data pulls straight through from Eventbrite straight into Swapcard. Nice and easy, no double registration. However, if you do want to manually input individuals, and obviously within those individuals you can set up groups, and those groups can be linked across to Eventbrite as well. So we had speakers, we had organizers. We actually, in terms of ticket, had a live attendee, a virtual attendee, and we also had guest attendees, because obviously we are showcasing venues. Other venues wanted to pop on, but what we didn't want them to do is necessarily benefit, because obviously our venues were our exhibitors, and they were paying for that privilege. We didn't want other venues coming on board and obviously having the same interaction. The settings within the group settings of people allows you to kind of set what they can and can't see and what they can and can't interact with. So again, very similar to some of the other products about setting those parameters for your attendees, which we obviously quite liked. If I click on people there, you can then see the database of people and the settings and the data that we kind of captured. Moving on to the exhibitors, obviously, like that one. Go back to the home, check. This is an old version, so it might be there. I'll perhaps have to go onto the front end to show you that. Obviously, the exhibitors is basically, again, very similar to the other options, but nice ability to kind of create a portfolio. I'll show you on the front end. It obviously looks a lot nicer when we show it on the front end in terms of each exhibitor. The nice thing, again, because this is quite people focused and the engagement side and interaction focused. When I come onto the live version, you'll see it in a little bit more detail, but exhibitors have the ability to contact any of the attendees in there and start interacting with them, and the attendees have the ability to contact the exhibitors and also video chat with them as well as through the platform. In terms of the sessions, building the sessions, obviously we were a full day conference, so we built that. We were very lucky. We had the lovely Martin Fullard as our keynote presenter, and yeah, the back end is obviously not happy because it's an old event that's quite old now, but you'll see it on the front end. But again, within the session, you can build it and you can showcase everything that's coming up, name the speakers, identify what's going on as part of that session in terms of information, add links, add documents, etc. In terms of the actual presentations themselves, again, because we were working with a video production company, they did the live mixing. Because of COVID, we had lots of situations where we actually had one of our host speakers couldn't attend the live parts, so we had to bring them in virtually. So we had, as I say, this combination of live and virtual blended quite nicely together, and I'll try and show you some of that as we go as well. But we then mixed all that through the video production company, and they then put it onto YouTube. YouTube was what was then embedded into our sessions. So there was a slight delay for the virtual audience of around about kind of 10 to 20 seconds, because obviously streaming to YouTube and then streaming on through the platform causes that delay. But that was the way that we got our video across. But similarly, you can create meetings, you can send out emails, so you can have set those in advance, which was a nice thing. So you can contact your, yeah, again, the back end is not happy, but you can send out notifications to your attendees through templates that are already pre-created, and you can just adjust them manually, add logos, add imagery, etc. So plenty of communication. So again, we use the platform both for the live and the virtual audience for communication. So we were emailing out those live attendees to make them feel safe, telling them all the procedures we had in place at the venue that we operated from and things like that. So that was kind of quite nice touch. Notifications, very similar. We can push out notifications to attendees during the event to let them know, like on the other ones, if speakers are running late, or if the event, any adjustments to the event that has happened. Analytics, again, lovely feedback that you can get and detail about all of the events. So I don't think I'm going to even try to go into the back end of that one, just in case it says unexpected error again. But let me show you the front end so you can see. For me, Swapcard, I kind of see it as that you create an individual profile. It's kind of like a mini LinkedIn profile, which is quite nice. So that's me on the right. So obviously you wouldn't have to put up with my ugly mug yourself. You could just see yourself and obviously all your contact details. Within that, you can load your socials, you can load your email, you can load your contact details and a bio about yourself, so you can learn more and more about that individual person. And then, as you can see, very much like the little mobile phone on the back end, you can see the front end, you can see the agenda. Here's the agenda. You can add tags to it as well, so you can kind of use some key tag words. So if people want to search and filter for throughout your program of what what they want to see, it gives them that kind of bit of on demand rather than just sitting through the day. And then obviously what that does is then builds your own schedule, so you can see the schedule on the right hand side. If I kind of scroll down, you can see the whole of the event. So it's kind of a full day event, of which again, so if I go on to there, this is what then the audience will see, including the live. So that was a holding slide that we had prior to it going live. If I scroll along, obviously, one nice thing about virtual platforms and hybrid platforms is you've now got events on demand, so you can keep your event open and people can go back and watch it. I'll put my contact details in there. So if anyone wants to go on and watch our event, I can provide a link and details on how to do that. Again, similarly, chat, questions, polls, all there and available. Pre-registration just lets us know roughly how many people are going to be expected for each session, which was quite useful. And as I say, all the details about the actual session, all their speakers, including all who attended as well, which was kind of quite nice. Going back to home and going to exhibitors, this is where I say you've got a profile of each of your exhibitors. Each individual can bookmark exhibitors so they can kind of go back to them and keep them there as a reference. We had a mixture of both live and virtual exhibitors at the event, which was kind of quite interesting. But there you go. Again, video content for exhibitors to showcase their video, or it can be still imagery, information about them, social media contacts, contact details, and who's part of that team, which is all very easily created. Very intuitive, the back end. It follows a very logical kind of thought process. And like I say, if I was an attendee and I wanted to talk to them, video link there, or send a message and chat with them there. And like I say, a bookmark. So lots of nice ways of interacting with exhibitors, between attendees and exhibitors. In terms of attendees, again, nice full list of attendees, so the attendees can interact with each other. you get your list of connections that you've made. So you it's basically like sending a friend request. You'd like to join, they go yes or no, and then obviously you're connected, and then you can chat with each other and interact with each other accordingly. So again, all very things. Has a little AI matches, so kind of looks at who you are and looks at people that you might be interested in connecting with, which is again another nice little tool. Speakers is very much as it suggests. That was a full list of all of our speakers that were speaking at the event and their profiles, and again has this little AI match of speakers you might like to connect with. And then my event, this is kind of where you've chosen the bits that you want to go and see, the people you want to network with, and those type of things, and it kind of all holds it in there for you. So it's a bit more of a kind of personalized view of the event that you're attending. So very kind of simple on that side of things. Like I say, this is very interactive, so there's a nice way of just chatting to individuals. This is your notifications, and obviously there's a full list of attendees, so for that interaction. So like I said before, one of the things that our guest attendees that we obviously didn't want interacting with all of our paying customers, well, we wasn't paying, it was a free event, but our customers, they weren't allowed to interact with these people. So that's one of the kind of quite important things for me on that side. That's a whistle-stop tour, really, because I know that I'm trying to catch up time from the people that were a little bit overrun, and I know the last one looks amazing, and we'll probably need a bit more time than I've taken. I'll put my email address in the chat so that you can get in touch with me if you need to.
Thank you, Matthew. Over to Julie and Kate for Remo.
Kate, did you want to go first? You're on mute.
See, this is why I need Julia in my life.
Did you want me to share my screen already, or am I letting you talk first and then I'll share? Because otherwise
I'll
it gives it away.
just quickly give us a quick introduction. So basically, hi, I'm Kate. I'm an independent event planner and producer. I work across a variety of sectors, delivering end-to-end event management and project management for B2B, B2C clients. My most recent event, which was the virtual event we're about to talk to, was for a client called Bloom, who are a professional women's network in the communications and advertising sector. They have an event which happens every year, and it's normally a one-day event with lots and lots of content and speakers and panels, and they invite guests, and it's ticketed. This year, it ended up becoming 3 days worth of content with around 6 hours of content per day, over 100 speakers, and up to 400 delegates across the 3 days. So as an independent event producer, I realized quite quickly that I needed some support and a third-party kind of technical partner, hence Julia. So I had done some various research into all of the different platforms, much like Matthew had, and I was introduced to Julia, who is running the platform Remo. Remo really is an off-the-shelf solution, but with working alongside Julia and the team, they provide full technical infrastructure and platform management. So that allowed me to carry on managing the client and all of the project management side, because it was such a big event, whilst Julia and her team were focused on the delivery and the technical side. So, you know, the run of show, the MC, you know, the show calling, everything that you would need from an AV supplier, including moderation as well. So in terms of the actual platform itself, it's better for you to see it. So over to Julia to introduce Remo and how it worked for Bloomfest.
Wonderful. And I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to do something, I'm going to be a complete opposite, and I'm going to show the platform first, and then I'm going to show the back end. And luckily I should be very quick, but I'm going to stop my video here because we're going to actually go live over into the platform. So this is there's two modes. There's networking mode and presenting mode as part of an experience. And it is just that. We don't do, let me turn my video on over here so you can see me over here and I can talk to you. There we go. I'll just turn it on there and I'll face the scene there. There we go. I'll try and do it that way. We don't do we don't do events and conferences. We do experiences on this platform because that's what it enables you to do. It's all live. And it's all about an experience and engagement, and it's that live touch. So this is what happens when you go into each of the experiences. We have loads of different floor plans that we've created. Casey and Cameron are in there. They're the production team. They're in both events, but I'm just going to put, if you guys put your cam on and mic on as well. So not your mics on, just your cams on. Casey, put your cam on as well there. So this is us. We're at one of the tables here. So we are at the LinkedIn bar. Let's all go to the micebook bar, guys. If we head over to the micebook bars, you just simply click on a bar stool anywhere. Do you hear that little knock, knock? And we're then moving, all of us move over to a different room. And there we are, we're over at the micebook bar. And you can move around the floors. You can see over here on the left, all the different floors. We run up to 500 people, 100 people per floor. Each of the tables, the optimum number of people in a table is 8 maximum. That's where you stop talking past that amount, as you've seen on the big Zoom calls. We also do provide, as you can see here, little 2-seaters that are private rooms. You've got a little laptop there that you can go in and chat to, but this enables the 8-seater tables are ideal. Casey, could you do your magic in the back end and change it to the awards platform while we work? So we've got rooftop bar, beach bars, university campuses. This is our Bloomfest bespoke one that we produce. I'm just going to refresh. You're about to see our awards site. What happens is when you first go into the site, exactly like this, it will ask you to do a quick check on your mic and your cam, and then you're live into the environment. Welcome to the micebook Awards. Here we are. I'm at the reception desk there. Would Casey and Cameron join me at reception? Thank you very much. They're at reception with me. So there we are. I'll just scroll out a little bit there so you can all see us. As you can see here, we have different sponsored links. We have up to 10 sponsored sections on any site. And when you have the Casey Topi join as well, you just click on one of these and then find out more will take you out to the website. To the left of to the right of the stage is always the agenda. We run a video there. There's areas here like run of show that allows us to put things like when a video is running, when we want to launch announcements, etc. Cameron, type me out an announcement for me to show you how that works. You've also got whiteboarding at the tables, so you can do things like that. And I'll just show you an announcement that's just going to pop up here. And then there we go. Hello, everyone. Announcement. Thank you very much. Then we're going to head on stage. So you do your networking. You can go on off stage as often as you like. Start in 30 seconds or start now, but let's head live onto stage. Do you want to record? We won't record for today. There we are. We are now live on stage. Hello and welcome. The difference with this platform, what makes it quite unique? Yes, it's got chat and Q&A and presentation. I'm going to go over to Q&A. And what the team are going to do here is you can obviously, the audience writes in questions. That's the standard, and the moderators will ask those questions. But we also ask the audience, pop stage in front of your name, and we'll actually invite you up on stage so you can ask your question live. So one of my team's going to do that. So Casey, so what I'm going to do is I then go to participants. In this list here would then be the list of attendees and speakers, and we can press the magic button and launch them on stage. So Casey, I'm just going to launch you up on stage. Come up on stage and ask your question live on stage. There's Casey. Wonderful. So that would be as if it is, and she'd then ask a question, then you disappear again off stage for me, Casey. Wonderful. So we can do that as many times as we like. We can invite 10 people up on stage. Works perfectly when you're doing an awards, and you can obviously go, and the winner is da, 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 and then you invite the person up on stage. So participants, next to everybody's name is a virtual business card. You can book a calendar meeting, you can link in and all of those things. So, and you can do voting and polls. For example, Cameron, thank you for that. You just put a poll. So poll, which platforms have you used before? Let's vote Remo, so the audience can then vote. Up it goes. Nice and simple. Swapcard, Zoom, Vimeo. 3 of us have voted for Remo. That's the back, that's the front end. And I'm just going to head back to show you as easy as it is. We then head back to floor. So often we go on and off floor plenty of times. So we would just come off of there and back we are again. We can then head to the center bar because we're then going to catch up on the center bar or whatever we want to do. Tile view again, nice and big. And there's who's else is in the room. You can hear that knock. And there's Casey. Hello, Casey. She's in the room. Cameron's joining us as well. So it's all live. It's all interactive. Thank you very much, Cameron and Casey. I'm going to head into the back end now. So heading in there, one of the lovely good things about this is the fact it's so simple in a way to use. We've been using this since I bought the license back in March because I wanted to find a solution that allowed for that interactive networking. I've done On24, done Swapcard. I've also used Hopin as well, and I love them, but this allows for something that little bit extra. When you go into this one, we'll go the same one. You can prepare an event by choosing the event details, type all that in, nice and simple. Choose the floor plan. As I said, the team at the Digital Voice we've got spring ones, Christmas ones, university, the beach bar, rooftop lounge, all of these ones. So we just plug in which ones we want there. You simply enter any of the sponsors in there, nice and easy to edit, upload the name, upload the thing, choose your position and save the sponsored slot. Lovely and easy. Agenda, simply type in. Simple as that. That then heads into the run of show, which can also be added. Invitations, you can invite speakers. You can upload CSV files for speakers into there. They receive a link and it's live there. You can also invite guests. And what we did for this one, as you can see, we had 276 registered for this particular day at Bloomfest. And we simply, Casey uploaded in the back end all of the paid for attendees, because you can do this. It links to Eventbrite, it links to Zapier. Generally, the paid for ticketed list gets sent to us and we send them a list. Extras, we can do things, customize welcome message, and you can also stream out to live to YouTube. And the final part, I said I'd talk quickly. Let me go back over. I'll go back onto video over there so you can see me there. Is you can export the guest list and send it immediately after finishing an event, export all the questions, and you can also then just download straight away all the videos of all the formats, send them in MP4, and over they go. Deep breaths. There we go. Kate, did I miss anything?
No, that was a whistle-stop tour. It was fantastic. I mean, for us and with Bloom, obviously it was about feeling really inclusive, about it feeling fun but professional. So a lot of the content is quite emotionally charged. And I think the client was keen to have a safe space, but still felt welcoming, felt fun and engaging. And, you know, we had sponsors to think about, we had the overall experience to think about, and then we had the engagement of the attendees. And with a complex schedule that we had, you know, the opportunity as a delegate, I think, is to dip in and dip out, because you can run and hide when you're on virtual events. You know, you can just turn your mic off, cam off, and choose not to go to something. But because Bloomfest and the way the platform works, you feel like you've gone to Bloomfest event. That bespoke floor plan was designed with us and the client and with Julia and her team. So it really was their event. And that's the beauty of it. It wasn't just a flat one-dimensional experience. It's a very 3D kind of dynamic experience for everybody involved. And that was really the massive selling point for us and for Bloom, working with Remo and with Julia. So absolutely, I think, yeah, any questions, would be happy to.
And just one final thing, Chet, is to say this works especially well for things like live mixologists. We have them on stage and then you go to your tables and you drink with your team. We're doing loads of Christmas experiences. It's definitely about that, filling that gap that people need right now for that human experience and being able to see people physically and not just typing. So I'm a big fan of it for that. Thank you, Chet.
Thank you, guys. So that was brilliant. Thank you for the three other participants who shared. And the idea wasn't to give it in depth. We just didn't have the time. Julia, actually, if you could stop sharing screen, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't to give an in-depth point of view on any of the platforms, but we've got contact details for everyone should you have more questions and need more expertise and guidance. Got a couple of questions in the chat. Caroline McKenzie, do you want to come on and ask Catherine your question so that it's clear?
Hello, yes, Catherine and I have actually been chatting as well in the background. Yeah. I'm an OnAir user and an Event-Air licensee, which is the main platform. Mm-hmm. When I saw the first launch of OnAir back in March, April time, one of the areas that wasn't the strongest was the e-poster component. Yeah. And I was interested what Catherine had used that when they or how they position the e-poster offering, which is something we use quite a lot for our scientific clients. I would describe it more as an offering that was more like breakouts with short oral presentations rather than a traditional e-poster. And I wondered how that might have evolved.
Yeah, so it is still very similar. It's a lot of short oral presentations, but what's good about this function now is that you can integrate Aircast Studio for that. So you don't need to integrate Twilio or anything like that. So it all uses Aircast. So it makes it much more streamlined experience. So they have, and the good thing about Events Air is that they continuously keep making updates, because this year has been quite a whirlwind for everyone, and everyone going virtual and then realizing through a lot of us making comments and requesting for changes here and changes there. So they are continually making these updates, I find. And I find that this function works a lot better now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anna Louise, do you want to come on and ask your question?
I was just going to ask about HubSpot and any sort of MailChimp sort of CRM systems. How do these work? Do all of these solutions pretty much take on a world of its own, and it has its own CRM platform? Obviously, you can export CSV files with all your attendees, etc. But in terms of sort of mailing lists, if we currently have HubSpot, does it integrate well with that? Or is it something that you would have to use as two separate systems?
I can answer that because we use HubSpot as well.
Lovely.
So they're two very different systems. HubSpot is more for CRM, whereas Events Air we use for specific events. So we use them very much not together. They're not integrated at all. We use them separately.
Okay, that's good to know.
Same with Hopin. I don't believe there's an integration with any CRM. It's a separate database and an upload CSV list, or Remo and Swapcard. And just bear in mind, none of us are, well, we are knowledgeable about these platforms, but yeah. Swapcard, Remo?
Remo, again, we generally just download it as a CSV file. I'm just checking with Casey, producer Casey, who's in there. Am I right that it's just that we do the CSV? Yeah, she's nodding.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Same for Swapcard, export, import, via CSV.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Actually, Nabina's just posted. So if you've heard of Zapier, it connects two different platforms together to integrate. But she said it is a bit glitchy. So
the one Remo does link in with Zapier. It's one of the functions we haven't used it yet because we haven't needed to, because most people are happy with the solution. If it's a paid for ticketed event, that they'll use Eventbrite like Kate did, that worked well, but there is a Zapier link that we can integrate with.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone else? There's a question from Richard on Swapcard. Matthew, when you were talking about building your kind of LinkedIn sort of profile with all your details and socials and description and image, can it pull in from LinkedIn automatically, or do you have to input all of that?
If on the registration side, so we added on the registration side through Eventbrite a social in that, and obviously that pulled it into Swapcard. So in terms of kind of those registering, the kind of social links did, and obviously then there's a link out from your profile to those socials. So in answer to the question, no, I didn't have to build it. It kind of did it, but it did it through Eventbrite, the registration process.
Okay. All right, well, I'd really like to thank the three panelists for joining today and sharing their expertise. Really welcome. They know these platforms inside out, so if you need help, you need guidance, I'm sure they'll all be very happy to support. We will share their details on our voice forum, so feel free to get in touch. Hopefully we'll see some of you next week at our incentive and luxury event, which is next Wednesday. All details on the forum or on mustbeonit.com. Thanks everyone, have a great week.
Thanks, Jet. Thanks everyone. Nice to see you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Hi Susan.
Thanks Matthew.
Thanks Susan. Speak to you soon.